Culture is the way of life of a people. It includes their language, their food, their clothing, their music, their art, basically everything, the way a people behave. Now, I raised my children up in Caracas, Venezuela. And when we came back to Nigeria, I could see a sharp contrast in the two different cultures. And it's so important that you get to know about how culture affects or influences the reading pattern of people so that you can leverage it. Leverage positive culture to give your children a reading habit. I'll get back to this. Hi, I'm Ngozi Okure. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this channel, we discuss books and how to leverage reading for success in life. Please subscribe to my channel if you've not done so. And if you're a returning subscriber, you're welcome. Thank you so much. In today's video, we'll be discussing how culture affects or influences the reading habits of a people. Culture, as I said, is the way of life of a people. Their food, their language. Okay, when my children were in Venezuela, they spoke Spanish. They ate burritos, empanadas, arepas, and they listened to salsa. They listened to a lot of the music of the land. In fact, you will be hearing those music blasting from the windows of the various homes, especially in weekends. So the cultures were so vast. People go to the beach a lot. It's part of their culture. They love going to the beaches. So on weekends, most of them go to the beaches. The beaches are full to the brim. Now, the ones who don't go to the beaches, we go to the markets. Their markets are open on Sundays and closed on Mondays. Okay, so you see the cultures are very vast. Okay, I remember when I came back with my children and we had to go to a church, a very big popular church around our home. It was like a carnival. People turned out in thousands and they were so well dressed as if they were going for a party. And it was such a huge contrast because even where we were coming from, the people that even go to church, they will come in casuals, they will come in jeans and sandals. Okay, so the culture was vast and it was different. Okay, so you see that there is a vast contrast in the way things are done in different cultures of the world, and this has a bearing with how people read as well. Another thing that I've noticed that is cultural with us is visiting eateries. It's a very common thing for parents to take their children to eateries and to buy them snacks. Now, while our people are huge on going to eateries, while we are huge on going to churches, one thing that is lacking, one cultural practice that is lacking, and for which I am making this video today, is the fact that in Nigeria, it's not cultural to visit bookshops with children. Parents hardly visit bookshops with children. I know parents who are financially capable and who can drive their children to bookshops and allow these children to walk around and to pick books that they ordinarily would want to read. Unfortunately, because it's not in our cultural consciousness, such parents never get to doing this, right? You see them, they can so easily drive into eateries. But when it comes to driving to bookshops or going to libraries, that one is not even in the consciousness of so many Nigerians. And I want to encourage you today, listening to me, that even if it is not in our culture, even if it is not in our cultural consciousness, listening to me in this video today, I want you please to adopt this as part of your culture. It will help you and it will help your children a lot. Here, a lot of parents can afford to put their children in very expensive schools. They can afford to buy them very good school books, pay very huge school bills. But when it comes to taking children to bookshops so that these children can pick the kind of books they want to read, parents will ask you, she has her books, she has her school books, right? You see, I hold webinars for parents, and this is usually the bone of contention. Parents will tell me that children, they don't love to read, they don't love to read. And then I'll ask them, what books do they have to read? They say they have school books, that their bags, school bags are full of books. Now, what a lot of parents don't seem to understand is that a lot of children do not love to read school books. And this is partly the fault of a lot of parents too, because raising these children up, they raise them up to have a fear-based association with books. I remember one mother telling me that each time she tells her 6-year-old to go and bring his school books, that the child will begin to cry. Now, that's a pointer that child doesn't have a good association with books. That child has a fear-based association or a pain-based association with reading. So children will not ordinarily read school book on their own, except if you push them out. But if you don't want to push your child before she picks up a book to begin to read, what you need to do is to take that child to the bookshop and take him or her through the books that they have, age specific books, the books they have for the for the age of that child, and allow the child to pick books that align with their interests. Of course, the way we have how many classes of food? We have 5-6 classes of food. There are children who will not want to eat beans, but if you give them pizza, they will want to eat. There are others who may not want to eat eba, but when you bring yam, they will eat. Okay, so that's how it is also. There are different genres of books. It's only when you take the child to the bookshop, the child will see the different types of books that you have comics, you have storybooks, you have illustrated Bible stories, you have Aesop's fables. There are many types of books. In fact, recently I made a video discussing 5 different books that children will always love to read. Okay, so you see that when you take them to the bookshop and allow them to go through the display of books, okay, the books that are on display, and they can pick the kind of books they love to read, you will see that this child, nobody will begin to push him to begin to read books. They will read on their own. They don't want to read school book at home. They want to read their own kind of books, and encourage this, because if you can encourage this child, begin to give him the kind of books he loves to read, even if it is comics. You are giving that child that book that he wants to read. What you're trying to do is to develop a reading habit. When you give that child that book consistently, he develops a reading habit, then he can begin to read from other genres. Okay, so I want to encourage you, even you as a parent. The reason why a lot of parents do not read is because of the scarcity of books in the home. If you walk into the bookshop and you walk around, you will see books that will literally call your name. You will see books that will align with your interest, and you pick them. I encourage people, let your home be flooded with books. When books are everywhere in your home, you can't but open them to read. And remember that each time you open a book, you learn something new. So I want to encourage you that even if it is not in our cultural consciousness to carry our children to bookshops and to libraries, you can develop that culture. You can develop it as a family culture for yourself, so that doing so, you will be able to raise children who will have a reading habit. Remember that reading is a gateway skill that makes every other learning possible. When you're able to give your children a reading culture, you can be sure that they will be able to learn anything and acquire every necessary skill to succeed and to be stars in life. Thank you so much for being a part of this beautiful video. If you got value, I want to encourage you to please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and if you want more videos like this, I want you to please click on the list of the playlist here. Until I come your way next time, remain richly blessed.